Axelbase is a standard relational database manager that handles very large data entities. Those two factors together, those two features together, make it exceptional. That's the main feature of Axelbase. Now that means, of course, it handles standard ANSI 92 SQL to query very large data entities. Now what you're going to see is not Axelbase. Axelbase is embeddable. It's a database manager. It's a standard DLL. And for example, here's my personal system that Axelbase is running in. When this GUI loaded, it brought Axelbase up. And let's take a look at one of the tables. We'll ask Axelbase to return the data rows. And there they are. These are photographs. People are impressed by the fact that Axelbase handles blobs, although really there's nothing to it. But since people are impressed, we'll ask it to do that. We'll show a few of them. And another one. Again, Axelbase is running inside this application to handle the data. It is running another application. We'll go to a different computer here. This is CoreReader. CoreReader is running. It runs 24/7 to handle housekeeping tasks for the Axelbase lab. Axelbase is handling all of that data. We'll go back to the first computer. Here is a little server that we used for testing here. It loaded Axelbase when it came online. We'll close that. And finally, what I call AxHandle, this loaded Axelbase when it came up, and we're going to run a query. Let's open a database, and we'll open this one, and we'll ask it to we'll ask it to return a count from a table. Again, you'll recognize that this is standard ANSI 92 SQL. And this table has 47 billion rows in it. This is not a very large table for Axelbase, but it's one of the biggest that we can handle here on the equipment. And so we'll ask it now to run a query against that table. And this will take a minute because we are running against 47 billion tables, or 47 billion rows. And it took approximately 10 seconds. Now, an interesting thing about Axelbase is one of its features is that it runs on very old computers as well as high-end, very expensive equipment. Some of these computers you may recognize are as much as 10 years old. That was what was running the query that you just saw. Axelbase also has documentation, about 100,000 words, maybe 500 pages, depending on how it's formatted. Now, another feature is that if you have very much bigger or much bigger tables, there is an advanced technology in Axelbase that will allow you to bring up what we call a super server, where you have petabyte-sized tables, minimum of petabyte-sized tables, where you can run queries even faster.